Well, that was a whole lot better, wasn't it? 122-84, the final score. The Dallas Mavericks very nearly reset the all-time largest blowout record in an NBA Finals game, just missing the Bulls' 42-point win over the Jazz in the 98 Finals, 96-54. 122-84, the final, so they missed it by 4 points. But a dominant performance from the Dallas Mavericks in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, and they are still alive. They have forced a return trip to Boston for Game 5 on Monday night. Their season is still alive. Winning in Boston in Game 5 will obviously be a completely different ask, but you've got to feel like there's a ton of positive to take out of Game 4, because this wasn't just a win. This was an absolute domination of a really good Boston Celtics team that admittedly probably had a good deal less to play for than the Mavs did tonight. They waved the white flag and emptied their bench with still 3+ minutes on the clock in the third quarter. So I think that speaks a little bit to, one, just how ridiculous the blowout was, but two, the reality that Boston was facing, that, all right, you know what, if we don't win this game, we can go home up 3-1, and their idea would obviously be to close it out on their home floor on Monday night. So sure, a Celtics team with a little bit less motivation than the Mavs, who were playing with complete desperation tonight, but still, they led by 48 at one point. That was a tremendous showing from the Dallas Mavericks, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, to hold this Boston team to 84 points, to hold this Boston team to 36% shooting in this game. There's a lot of positive to take out of this one. Luka Dončić has to be the top of the list in terms of positives to take out of this game. He was rather vociferously lit on fire by the national media over the course of the last 48 hours after Game 3. He responded. He responded with what he did on the court. He responded with what he did as it relates to the officials. He just shut up and play. And Kyrie Irving was asked about it just a couple minutes ago. I just came out of his press conference at the end of the night, and he said, listen, it makes a difference in, I think what he was ultimately saying was, when Luka doesn't get wrapped up in MFing the officials and trying to figure out how to paraphrase exactly what Kyrie said, talking the officials, he said it makes an impact, especially when, if we're down in a game and we're trying to make a comeback and we need to have the officials on our side. He said, they're human too, and if that's what's happening, we don't have them on our side. It was a very interesting and candid response from Kyrie, and it's true. They're people. It is what it is. No matter how much officials are supposed to be the independent, non-biased arbiters of the game, they are still human. And if you get barked at for 48 minutes by somebody, you're just going to be, even subconsciously, less inclined to favor that person. Even if it isn't a outright, I'm not going to call a foul for that guy, but just it seeps into your subconscious. And if there's a 50-50 call, you don't even think about it, and it might affect the way that you call the game. So credit where due. Luka did what he needed to do tonight, on and off the floor. Basketball and not is maybe the better way to say that, because obviously it was all still on the court, but in terms of what he did within the flow of the game, and also what he did when the play was stopped, and just not barking at the officials, not getting embroiled in that nonsense, makes a big difference in how he plays and how this Mavs team plays. And if he can keep doing that, if he can, as he said earlier this week, just have fun out there, play with that joy that he has had so many times in his career, and not get tangled up in some of the other nonsense, it makes this Mavs team just that much harder to beat. And they're already hard to beat as it is, because they are a really good team that has won their way to the NBA Finals, no matter what it looked like the first 3 games of this series. Again, Game 5's a whole different animal. in their building where they have already proven twice it is extremely tough to play and tough to win. But Dallas has given themselves that one more bite at the apple. And now, if you're Boston, a team that has already once 2 years ago coughed up a 2-0 series lead, perhaps, also maybe not, but perhaps Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and some of these Celtics players that remember what that was like in 2022 maybe start gripping the basketball a little bit tighter. Maybe you're a little more tense when they shoot their threes. Like, it can start to seep into your mind that, oh, shoot, we got to win this one because we don't want to go back to Dallas all of a sudden having given them 2 straight wins, and now if they win on their home floor, we got to come back for Game 7. You don't want to play with that fire if you're Boston, and now if you're Dallas, you've at least planted a small seed of doubt. You're still down 3-1. You still have to scale Everest. Let's be realistic here. But they've done what they needed to do so far. We'll see if they can build on it on Monday night.